Welcome to Future of Flushing. I'm Vito Calisi. With me, Jonathan Barron, the hosts of this show, and our guest today from the Binghamton Rumble Ponies, it's Dom Hamel. Dom, first off, we just want to hear how you are feeling so far, just about this 2023 season in general. You're off to a really great start so far in this first half.
For sure. I mean, we're feeling the best we have this year, which is good to hear, later in the year. But yeah, getting over that midseason hump. I just been feeling good with the plan, making my approaches different and adjusting how I needed to. And right now we feel like we're at a good spot, so just sticking to those rocks. But yeah, we're feeling good.
Now, Dom, Vito and I are talking to you at a great time because you've been at your sharpest of late. You just had an 11 strikeout game over your last 3 starts, 27 strikeouts, 3 walks. You've been throwing at a 70% strike rate. What's helped you be so sharp, especially in your last 3 outings?
Just talking through stuff with our coaches and my teammates. I mean, I know I have good stuff to go out and compete. It's just the terms of actually executing. And a lot of times, like when you're going out there and a fearful approach or a fearful manner, you're being very courteous of where you're placing stuff. Yeah, we obviously want to execute, but when you're showing that you kind of are giving a batter a little leeway to get into something, it makes a big difference at this level. So I just got into a point talking to my guys where it's like, I don't care who's going, I don't care where this pitch goes. Like if I execute it, there's nothing wrong realistically that could really happen. So I'm just selling out to a spot and just doesn't change.
So right now we're at the midway point, but I want to go back to the very beginning of the season, back in late February. A very exciting time for you for 2 reasons. First, the intrasquad game that you started, and Buck Showalter, the Mets manager, did not take it easy on you. He stacked the top of the lineup. You faced the likes of Jeff McNeil, Pete Alonso, Francisco Lindor. What was that experience like for you, pitching in that game and facing those big bats in the Mets lineup?
Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, it's definitely not just backfield spring training, and you're getting into like the heart of the Mets lineup. It's definitely a privilege. So, I mean, I was excited they wanted me to start that game. Obviously a little anxious. So, I mean, I think I had a wild pitch and walked a couple guys, hit Mark Canha, of course, out of all the guys to hit.
You're not the only person to do that. That happens a lot with Mark Canha.
Exactly. I was like, oh, well, I got your first one of the year. Don't remember me. But, no, that was really cool. Yeah, I was excited. Probably a little more geared up than I should have been. Just the nerves. I was so excited to be facing such a lineup. But yeah, no, it went well for the most part. I mean, it was a little sporadic in some parts, but I mean, worked out of 2 jams, and that was awesome getting out there to do that for sure.
And then a few weeks later, obviously, you play in the World Baseball Classic for Team Puerto Rico. What was that entire experience like for you?
I was unreal. I mean, that's like, you talk about the best of the best. I mean, there's always, World Series every year, and when it gets to that Game 7, you feel that kind of tension. It's every game felt like it was Game 7 of a World Series, and I haven't even been in a World Series. Like, this is just from what the other veterans are saying around me. Like, this means more to them, to their family, and just like all their loved ones than winning a World Series. Obviously, who doesn't want a ring, but just when you're called for an opportunity like that to represent, motherland and, just an entire heritage, a whole bloodline, a whole family, like, it just means a lot. And the craziest part was, like, it just brought the greatness out of all these guys. And so guys are playing like it's Game 7 of the World Series, but like it's early February, like spring training's like just in the midst of things. And these guys are at their full best trying to win this. So that was really awesome seeing that kind of environment, that kind of atmosphere. And yeah, it was just really an honor to watch how all those guys went about their business.
Were there any of the pros from Team Puerto Rico specifically you were able to work with and get some advice from?
I mean, my catch partner most of the day, his name is Nick Padilla. He's a cool dude. He's with the White Sox. He's got service time up and down, but I mean, I was locker mates with Stroman. I got to pick his brain a little bit on just like his pitching mentality. He had some really good things to say about just, finding your rocks and being stoic with them, like not shying away from them when they go a little south or they don't go as you planned. Like, you still know it can work. So, like, why would you ever kind of stray from that type of approach, that attack? So that was cool. Lindor, just seeing how he goes about it with the clubhouse with all the guys, like he's definitely a glue guy. He can mingle. Like I feel like, we kind of have a similar personality. We like to play pretty relaxed, and we're both just good competitors. Obviously, he's Francisco Lindor, and I'm me, but just like the personality, the way to blend and just mingle and approach anyone, which is, respect, but also, just a very chilled out manner. That was awesome. The rest of it was just watching guys play. Like everyone in the clubhouse is always like really chill, feel good. But once the game time, like you could see it in their eyes, really. Like they're just changed. They're in a different state of mind, and it's just they're top of the line competitors. That's why they're playing there.
So another member of that Team Puerto Rico squad is Coach Victor Ramos, who you also worked with at PSL. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your relationship with him?
Vic was one of the guys I first met when I had signed to the Mets, and was going through a lot of stuff with my mom's passing, and so he was just someone I could talk to within the org, like as a coach, but he wasn't a player. Like it's pretty special when you're able to connect with a coach like that. So we worked with each other the first half in St. Lucie, and then after I left, we still would keep in touch here and there. And then once that season ended and off season came around, he was the one that was able to make that connection to the classic coordinators for the team. And he just reached out to me, told me there might be an opportunity, and I was like, I would love to if I could. And then the day they called me back to officially tell me I got the last roster spot, I was with my grandparents, and it was a cool moment to share, and he knows how much that meant to all of us, and he's been the man for me for sure.
Well, your 2022 work with Victor led to you being named the 2022 Mets Minor League Pitcher of the Year. You started the year at St. Lucie, you moved to Brooklyn, you had even more success in Brooklyn than St. Lucie. Now you're with AA Binghamton. So I'm wondering, what differences have you experienced on the mound at all three levels, both challenges and just what you find different about all three in the competition?
It's pretty similar, like the dynamic, like it's a full lineup. There's usually like 3 or 4 bats you really like are kind of respective of. They can go power both fields. That's the guys I got to work both sides of the plate and adjust in counts. Whereas, some bottom of the lineup guys, they have kind of one approach to try to, stay middle away or, catch something up and turn it. And so, you just pitch into their dead zones. But, just as you move up, just those 3 or 4, like those damage hitters, they're just better at hitting the mistakes. And I think that's something I've been worried about before, like maybe in the beginning of the season when I was sporadic with my walks, and, I wasn't attacking guys with, I don't give a crap kind of approach. I was pitching guys like, oh, don't throw it into his back because he does this well. Like I do stuff really well too, and if I do that to my fullest extent, like it wins most of the time. So just getting back on that train where it's like, dude, your stuff's good. You just trust in. Yeah, you adjust when you need to, but it's the same game moving up all the levels. Obviously, there's better talent, but it's really the same game. So you just got to keep it simple.
What is it like transitioning in an off the field setting from a place like PSL to Brooklyn to then go to Binghamton? Because you're going from a place like PSL, which is the Mets like full spring training facility, then you're going to Brooklyn, which is basically in the middle of a gigantic city where you're in the thick of it, and then you go to Binghamton. How is that mentally affecting you?
It's definitely 3 completely different environments to be living in, like full time. But it's not anything too crazy. Like obviously we're all locked in on baseball, but the city, there's plenty of stuff to do around. But Binghamton, it's very like quiet, kind of spread out. It's still a college town, but it's like not, like a Power 5 type college town where it's sold out on their nearby college. It's just chill Binghamton. Like it reminds me of like my junior college I went to, and it's whatever. The outside living conditions, or whatever. I'm thankful enough that I get to be so close to family, and they're able to come up a lot from Poughkeepsie, and it was a quick ride to Brooklyn, and then now it's a quick ride to Binghamton too. So that's been awesome. So I guess I'll take that over the living environments, whatever.
When you did get promoted to Brooklyn last year, you ended up missing out winning a championship with PSL. As exciting as it is to get promoted, is there any piece of you that's looking back thinking, man, I really would have liked to pitch in that championship game?
Yeah, that would have been cool. But, I mean, we still clinched first half. So, I mean, we got to do a little celebration, with our sparkling cider. And, woo,
Definitely sparkling cider, right?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. The dude at Low
I've always wondered. Low A, a lot of the guys aren't old enough to drink. Do cider to be safe all around. But, no, I mean, that was cool. That was whatever. I mean, it was still cool to say I was a part of that, winning season, that championship season, especially because they won the first half and the second half. They went crazy that whole year. But, I've also been thankful to play on a lot of winning teams. So, I mean, I know what that's like. And, yeah, you're in one award or accolade, and then, there's another game coming soon, or there's something else to go after. So, that was cool for them to celebrate, but, I mean, it's all pretty fleeting. So, now, speaking of promotions, Mike Vassell started the year with Binghamton. He's now with AAA Syracuse. Christian Scott started the year with the Cyclones. He's now your teammate with the Rumble Ponies. Blake Tidwell last night struck out 11 batters. There's a wealth of talent throughout the system. Do you guys all communicate, even if you're not necessarily at the same level throughout the year, kind of just keep up, talk about what's going on, and also kind of be inspired by each other's performances?
For sure, yeah. I mean, the guys in your own draft class, Vassell was my roommate a lot of the time on the road, and I lived with him actually back in Bingo. So, I mean, I played with him last year too. So, yeah, I mean, we still keep in touch just because there's more of a relationship. Blade I met in spring training. I know he's a fierce competitor too, and I love that. I haven't really checked in with him personally, but yeah, he's doing well. He's shoving it. I know he's nasty. We still play catch a lot and at the complex, and he actually was helping me work with the sleeper. He was the first person I played catch with to show how one in game would work pretty much. And probably maybe should have checked back in with him just to let him know the sleeper's going well. But yeah, I mean, we see we're all shoving at different levels, and it's just you get excited for the future. You're if we just keep this up, what's it going to look like in 3 years? It'd be awesome if it's that power four in a rotation,
Yeah, well, we do call this podcast The Future of Flushing for a reason.
Amen. Yeah.
Obviously, all of the minor league Mets, you guys are doing an amazing job. It's good to hear that you're catching up with some of them, but this year a major league Met was down there in Binghamton with you, and that was Justin Verlander. Did you get a chance to learn anything from him, speak with him? What was it like getting to be on a team with him for a second?
Not really. I mean, he said a few words to me. He just said, "What's up? I'm Justin." I was like, "Yeah, you are." Obviously, I'm Dom. Doesn't matter. But that's a funny story though of Vassell actually, because Mike and I, our lockers are next to each other. We're chatting, blah blah blah. JV walks in, and we're doing this thing, blah blah blah. We're still talking, and we're kind of turning, and then he's like, "Hey." And we just turned. It's just Justin, right out. And he's like, "What are we wearing tonight?" And I was just like, what do you want to wear, man?" And he's like, "What'd you guys wear yesterday?" And I kind of stutter my words just because he caught me off guard. I was like, "What do you want to wear?" And Mike just immediately goes in his locker and starts fidgeting with his clothes. He's already fully dressed, just playing with clothes to do something. But that was literally about all I said to him. I think he dipped out in the 8th inning, just did his arm carrying bounce. I don't blame him. But it was funny though, because I think he made a joke to one of the trainers or something. He's like, "Yeah, if you see a helicopter flying out during the game, I'll give you a wave." And we're like, it's just because he's a big leaguer. Nah, bottom of the 8th inning. That was tough. That was really
wow.
Yeah, that's probably about it. I didn't get to say much else to him, but I mean, he shoved it. He came down, shoved, did his thing. It was cool to watch.
It's always fun to see when a major leaguer is in a rehab game and wears one of the fun novelty promotional jerseys. And I'm really upset we didn't get to see Justin Verlander in that strawberry shortcake jersey.
Great. Shortcake. Oh, that would have been great.
Speaking of Justin Verlander, who were some guys that you grew up modeling your game after, and who were some pitchers that you really enjoyed watching when you were a kid?
I mean, I always loved watching Max Scherzer. Just a dog. Obviously, he's got the pitchability, but just the mentality and that kind of tenacity he pitches with is just one of a kind. So that for the most part, and then probably somewhat like pitch modeling. I mean, last year in college, I would have said I feel like I throw a lot like Jack Flaherty,
Okay.
like pitch usage and stuff. But now that I have a cutter and a sweeper, I don't really have a solid comp. But I mean, everyone's physically and pitching wise different in their own manner. Like I know I'm a ride guy, and then I got big breaks, so north south guy, and I just look at Scherzer for like the mentality and like kind of just that dog. When he goes deep in a game, you see like what kind of animal comes out, and that's something I always love seeing.
Now, you just mentioned the sweeper. You're kind of known as a spin rate darling. You kind of caught attention in your draft year for your high spin rates. Is that something that you focus on, the analytics side of the game, heavily, especially between starts?
Kind of. It's more just like a check-in. Like I know where my numbers should be at for the most part. But yeah, just I was more locked in on that in college, just because when I was at DBU, that's when I learned that side of it, and that real StatCast era was really starting to take over. And yeah, I learned like I had a lot of IVB on my fastball, and the spin rates were up compared to like the major league averages and whatnot. And that's kind of when I was like, all right, you can really like start taking pride in this. But you take it with a grain of salt. Like when your numbers are slightly off one day, you can't lose sleep that I was 5 or 6 inches shorter on my extension. Actually, maybe you should, because that's kind of drastic. But just like if your spin rate's down for a day, or you're not getting that extra ticks of horizontal that you wanted, you can't completely bug out about it. But yeah, it's pitch by pitch data. Like there's the proofs in the pudding. Like if you know what to look for, you can make adjustments like needed. So yeah, it's something I've found myself getting too deep in before, and kind of got to keep a balance of like just going out there and execute, and then you check in, and then if your arm was down, you can see if you're dragging or you're just flying open, whatever it is. So yeah, those are definitely valuable numbers.
So we're looking forward at the second half of the year. Do you have any goals you've been setting up for yourself?
Just go sub 2, keep punching out of the world, go deep in games, keep giving quality starts. I mean, that's obviously easier said than done, but just trying really to keep it simple. Just keep winning the first 2 to 3 pitches. Like that's the best thing you can do for yourself and the team. Like you just go out there and eat innings, and if you start getting banged up a little bit, you don't keep beating around. You just keep attacking and keep trusting your stuff. Just keep eating up innings, save the pen.
We are approaching now 2 years since the Mets drafted you. In general, what has your experience been like in the Mets player development system from day one to where we are right now?
Yeah, it's solid. I mean, I do a good job of like doing individual, programming, and our pitching department does a good job of like giving us desired movement prep to do each day, or like something tailored to us that they feel like could unlock something, give us a couple other miles per hour, lift heavy or whatever it is. But and then so they do a good job of keeping it individualized, and then they're pretty balanced. Like they're good with the data side, but they know some guys aren't over the top with it. So I mean, it's kind of just more if you want it, like we have that available for you. But if not, like they let guys do their thing for the most part. It's nice.
Let's talk a little bit about more of this season. This week, you had what might have been your best start in the Mets system. Let's talk about that 11 strikeout game. How are you feeling? Did anything feel different? Just what was going through your mind that night?
Attacking. I mean, I was told my catcher, Hayden, he called a great game. I was like, yo, like they know, they got my scouting report. They know I have gross stuff, but I feel like they're just going to be trying to work that to spit on the stuff to get to a hitter's count. So let's ambush them with fastballs, keep them guessing, and make them hit the fastball. If they don't, then we'll just stay there. And yeah, I just had a good feel for the fastball that day. I was spotting it, getting like good 24 inches of ride on it. Yeah, I just kept putting it at the hands, keeping it up, and I think I had one walk towards the end. But you just keep consistently the race to 2 strike numbers and the and the first pitch strike, like those are huge stats to take pride in as a starter. So that was just the focus, to see how far I can go.
And in the minor leagues, you guys play 6-game series, and you kind of play the same teams more often than in the major leagues where, you're seeing a team maybe once all year. So as a pitcher, how challenging is that to face the same hitters? They have the book on you, but then you have the book on them as well. What's that cat and mouse game like?
Yeah, it's definitely tough as opposed to college. I just face a team once a week. And then, more often than not, you're just playing once a season, and then that's it. You never see them again. But yeah, no, here it's definitely challenging, especially with more talent. Yeah, guys are better at making adjustments, but yeah, we have all the footage. We have the portals to go look at guys, and I think that's the biggest thing you see. You look at like a lineup's last series or the last game they face and just their general approaches, and you just take little notes and go about it. But I mean, everyone's good at this level. It's just execution, pitch by pitch execution. Who wins each pitch? That's really that's to get you paid, obviously. But yeah, that's the distinguishing factor here. Guys that are better at adjusting and knowing approaches.
Who's the toughest at bat you faced so far?
Rafaela from Portland. He's pretty nasty. He wasn't here. He got promoted. But him and Hunter Goodman probably with Hartford. He's having a good year. Solid bat. Just you could tell by like some of the way, like, I mean, just guys that stand out. They just hit the ball hard all the time. Like whether it's fair, foul, or just pulling the ball, ground ball, fly ball. Like guys just find barrels, and he's one of those guys for sure.
As we head towards the end of this interview, we're going to ask you a few questions this is just to settle a question that me and John have been debating over the last few days. You get a sandwich. Are you a cutlets or a cold cuts guy?
Cold cuts for sure.
Thank you,
come
man.
on, Dom.
Cold
Come
cuts.
on, Dom.
I like to fold it all up, looking nice. Yeah.
Thank you,
All right.
man. Are you a mortadella guy?
What the hell is that? Mortadella?
Oh, man.
That's what I said.
I have to stop being a New York Italian person. So
They don't have that in Binghamton.
also, Dom, so realize you use a lot of baseball terms. Like you use a lot of like baseball lingo. What's your favorite?
We have one of our coaches. He just always yells out. He's one of our pitching guys, and he'll just whenever he says to the pitcher or just in the game, it's with the same tone. I say, "Win it, go get it, here we go." It's just that's kind of like I guess what I do. Just anywhere I go, it's like, "Oh no, I want a pitch." I don't know. It's kind of more of an inside joke, but I don't know. Call people beast a lot. I don't know if that's baseball lingo. So what's up, beast?
That's big Gen Z lingo.
Yeah, it is, Loki.
Loki.
No cap.
No cap.
And last question is we ask everybody this. When you debut at Citi Field, what song are you going to be warming up to?
Probably We Major by Kanye West.
That's good.
There you go.
Come on, homie, we major. Come on, homie, we major.
There you go. Well, we can't wait to hear it blasting through the speakers at Citi Field. Dom, thanks so much for taking the time. You were great. Congratulations on a great first half and continued success in the second half. We'll talk to you down the road.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all.